It was on, then it was off, now it's just suspended. It seems a deal may have been reached which could prevent a planned protest involving the burning of the Koran by the pastor of an obscure church in Florida. The pastor says in return he expects a New York mosque will move from its planned site near Ground Zero. But as North America correspondent Lisa Miller reports, there's still some confusion.
His church boasts at most 50 followers, but the world's media created a crowd as the attention remained focused on Terry Jones. And his supporters and detractors weren't far away.
Burning somebody's Bible is not really a good thing, but if it pisses them off, I'm all for it.
Dr. Jones isn't doing anything for Christian values. He is doing this for self-promotion. And people need to stand up and let him know that this is unacceptable activity.
But the more often Terry Jones spoke to the media, the more confusing this saga became. Initially, he cancelled his plan to burn hundreds of copies of the Koran, believing he'd won a guarantee over the siting of a New York mosque.
The Imam has agreed to move the mosque. We have agreed to cancel our event on Saturday.
But the Florida Imam doing the negotiating says all he promised was a meeting with one of the organisers of the development.
What was offered from New York is a commitment for a meeting, three-way meeting between myself, Pastor Jones, and Imam Faisal Abdul Rauf to address the mosque, the so-called mosque at Ground Zero, that center that's being planned over there. And I communicated this to Pastor Jones, that the Imam and his staff are willing to meet with us and to consider his request to relocate the mosque.
The pastor seems to have interpreted that as saying that the mosque will be moved.
And the organisers of the mosque in New York put out a statement saying they were surprised by Pastor Jones's words.
We are not going to toy with our religion or any other, nor are we going to barter. We are here to extend our hands to build peace and harmony.
In yet another press conference, Terry Jones declared he'd been lied to, and he was now back at square one.
At 5 o'clock we said that we would cancel because we assumed that what the Imam told us was, of course, true. Now we're in somewhat of a state of limbo, and we have to rethink, of course, our position.
The pressure had been mounting throughout the day. The FBI arrived unannounced at the church, keeping secret the reason for their visit. There'd been more global protests, this time in Pakistan, and the State Department issued travel warnings to US citizens.
All our embassies worldwide have convened emergency action committee meetings to assess the possible threat.
The president added weight to the concerns already raised by his four-star general.
I just want him to understand that this stunt that he is talking about pulling could greatly endanger our young men and women in uniform who are in Iraq, who are in Afghanistan.
And the Secretary of Defence, Robert Gates, picked up the phone and asked the pastor personally not to do it. America's Muslim community believes there's only one thing for sure.
I think he'll get his 15 minutes of fame as a bigot. There's no doubt about that.
The bigger picture, though, raises questions about what's happening with the relationship with America's Muslim population. There have been 8 anniversaries of the September 11 attacks. They've been approached with all the solemnity they deserved. But a confluence of events has ensured this anniversary will be remembered for entirely different reasons. Lisa Miller, Late Line.
And reacting to the uncertainty about the pastor's plans, thousands of angry Muslims have taken to the streets across Afghanistan, with some threatening to attack US bases. At least one person was shot dead and several were wounded outside a German-run NATO base.